Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss the latest scathing review from a cross-party group of MPs of the so-called Festival of Brexit. It's been labelled as an irresponsible use of public money, largely on the basis, I think, that there's no clear vision for what the event is even supposed to be for, which is inevitable, really, because at the end of the day, the Brexit vision does not match the reality. So, of course, any celebration of Brexit was bound to be confused and in a constant state of chaos. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So, a bit of background. Several years ago, when Theresa May was Prime Minister and had made the decision to commit the country to a hard Brexit that she knew would be deeply damaging, she announced Festival UK 2022. It became known as the Festival of Brexit because that's what it was all about. And as I say, the reason is obvious enough. See, at the time, she would have imagined that the hard Brexit would be delivered and we would now be experiencing the inevitable economic pain of such a move. She didn't know that she would have been booted out of office, or that COVID and war in Europe would be providing ready excuses to fool the uninformed and distract them from the consequences of Brexit. So at the time, it was perfectly reasonable to expect to need something to stop the general population asking questions, awkward questions of the government. I mean, World Cup year, but nobody at the time would have given any of the British teams much of a chance in such a tournament, as the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham as well. They're always nice, but they're not going to distract people for long from the devastating impacts of lowering living standards. The Queen's Jubilee, not quite going to do it, as the British public are much less interested in such things these days, besides a little bit tricky to organise street parties if we're struggling to pay for food. So if there wasn't going to be a natural unifying force in the country, she would have to artificially manufacture one. Hence this carbuncle of a festival being promoted. But the Prime Minister changed to Boris Johnson. The festival changed to Unboxed Creativity in the UK. A confused title for a confused government, and the Select Committee for Culture has absolutely slammed it. And when I explain what this festival actually is, you may see why. See, if you go onto the website, it proudly boasts 10 projects that come as part of this festival. Now, I'm going to quickly run through them because they are vaguely hilarious. I mean, you may imagine that a grand festival designed to show Britain's potential being unleashed after breaking free of the shackles of the EU would be Isambard Kingdom Brunel levels of grand. First, growing things. This project, which seems to lack much detail, but apparently takes place in Scotland, is called Dandelion. So we're going to grow something. Nice one. Couldn't do that in the EU, could we? And that's it. That's the project. That's one of the 10 grand projects. We're going to grow something in Scotland. Second, Dream Machine. This appears to be an art festival where you're encouraged to think about what it means to be alive. I'm assuming this doesn't include those whom the Conservatives have already killed at this point with their policies, but also art exhibitions. That's what it is. It's an art exhibition. Thought-provoking art exhibition, granted. Weren't they allowed in the EU either? I mean, how odd. I must have been dreaming when I thought I'd been visiting them over my entire lifetime. Third is a television programme. We're going to make a telly programme. This is a story set in the future and involves a Welsh production. I mean, Doctor Who's been filmed in Wales for quite a few years now, hasn't it? And it's quite famous for setting stories in the future as well. And it did that while we were in the EU too. So I'm not really sure what. The fourth one is outdoor artworks. So it's like the second one, but this artwork can be pissed on by the weather. Again, do Brexiteers think that outdoor art was not possible during our time in the EU? Fifth, there's a celebration of the solar system. Oh, because the solar system absolutely didn't exist while we were members of the EU. Hilariously, for a festival that is designed to separate the UK from our own continent, the tagline for this one is, "When you look at Earth from outer space, our differences of opinion can seem just a little less important." Sixth is pollinations. This is apparently a celebration of migration and diversity told through the medium of flowers. I shit you not, a Brexit project that celebrates migration and multiculturalism in Britain. But again, I fail to see how this is supporting the benefits of being outside the EU. 7 is another art exhibition, this time on a former North Sea oil rig. So like the other art exhibitions, only you can get seasick as well as pissed wet through with rain. Did the EU ban putting art exhibitions on disused oil rigs? actually, if they're thinking about that. I can't say for certain they didn't. I mean, health and safety and all that. And, you know, maybe this is one. Maybe this is a Brexit thing, something we couldn't have done in the EU. I'm not actually sure. And if it is, I'm not sure it's a benefit, because I imagine putting a gallery on an oil rig is not the cheapest way to get people to view art. But maybe only a country stupid enough to leave the EU will be stupid enough to pursue this project. 8 is a virtual reality museum experience. Did the EU ban virtual reality in history lessons? I don't think they did. So another one that could have been done in the EU as well. The 9th one, I will accept, actually sounds like a laugh. Doesn't celebrate anything, but it seems to involve large inflatable balls and other games that the public will be able to take part in. May not actually celebrate our new post-EU status, but at least we get to kick a giant beach ball around a field. And 10 is something called About Us. Couldn't actually find any real details here, other than it's a digital light show that celebrates the fact that everything connects us. Frankly, yet another one that would be more fitting in a celebration of EU membership, where we, were connected to a huge number of countries through trade and shared goals. And that's it. That's the festival. And each individual element is fine in itself if a community wants to put it on. They're essentially exhibitions. Some are very obviously short-term. Maybe all of them have only got limited funding. But does it justify £120 million of public money when there doesn't seem to be any clear aim to them? And although the festival no longer has explicit links to Brexit, as far as I'm aware anyway, nonetheless, how is it meeting any aims? The stated aim of the festival is to celebrate the creativity taking place in the UK. So I would ask what the purpose of this is, because it doesn't actually do what it claims. These projects are set up artificially. None of them actually show the creativity naturally taking place in the UK. Each individual project in and of themselves is a creative project, sure, but they're not highlighting UK creativity, is my point. In fact, I'll bet you if you dig deeper into some of these projects have been run by people outside the UK, I bet. But where, for example, is the project showing creativity in British engineering? Where is the creativity in British film and television production? None of these projects showpiece the creativity happening in the UK. They're just a ramshackle collection of art exhibitions and digital light shows. The show, and an inflatable beach ball. We mustn't forget that. The shows may or may not be educational, but they're not highlighting any innovations in Britain, post-Brexit or otherwise. And art is, by definition, creative, but I don't think the Tories have closed down all of our museums and galleries just yet, so people could see the same artwork if it was worthy without the festival, couldn't they? And the Select Committee said that the government seemed to have no compelling vision for the public. And here's the thing. This festival is taking place this year. It's now. How many people on the street even know about it? I only know about it because I spend a distressing amount of time looking up Brexit-related news. I've seen no promotion of it via any other source of normal advertising. It's like the Millennium Dome, isn't it? Another Tory white elephant, which Mother Nature finally decided she'd had enough of and ripped to shreds the other week. It's the result of having a vague objective but no plan for it. This is the problem. This was the problem with the Millennium Dome, for example. The government wanted a new recognisable landmark to bring in the new millennium. Okay, and it was. It was very recognisable, and I'm not going to knock the general objective. But the thing is, there was no plan for what practical use this landmark would have. If you think about other landmarks in various cities and in various countries around the world, they had a purpose. They became famous because they were distinct, but they still had a core purpose, a practical reason for being. It was years before it was put to any serious use, because no one knew what to do with it. This festival is even worse because there's no long-term footprint left by it. It's just 120 quid, £20 million just thrown away. What is it for? What is it supposed to do? At a time when we're being told we can't afford to feed hungry children, why are we spending much more than the cost of averting child starvation on a festival that is likely to pass almost completely unnoticed by most of the population? Fundamentally, the problem with this festival is there's no guiding objective for it, and what vague objectives there are, there's no plan for it. And this is because the real objective is to distract people from government mismanagement. Obviously, you can't explicitly state that aim, so you have to invent others. But because the stated aims are invented, they keep changing, making it impossible to develop a clear plan to meet your objectives. This event will just pass by with a sense of ridicule if anyone even notices it at all. And when the government are asked what benefit we got for our 120 million quid, expect the usual Brexit bollocks of, these intangible benefits that I'm sure you will appreciate. You know, they're totally real, absolutely real to the ordinary working class people of this country, but you know, they can't be expressed in words or data. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.